Hey, how you doing? I was down at Murky Waters the other night, and they said you hadn't been in for a while.
Yeah. I haven't been able to get down there as I've been helping out my mama.
Doing what?
Well, she has recently expanded her business, and I've been trying to lighten the load, so to speak.
Yeah, expanded.
Yeah. Mama has some new personnel, and I've been made an assistant manager, if you know what I mean.
What are you talking about?
Well, you know, she's always had to work hard taking care of me and all. After my dad died, we was on the dole for a long time until she started working at Molly's Open Door. Then after they closed Molly's down, she was on her own again. But she's smart, a good listener, and she was always talking with the other girls about the problems they all shared. So she finally went into management where she felt she could do the most good. Now, because she treats the girls square, she's become so popular that some of the ladies from other crews have come to her for guidance.
She does well by him, huh?
Very well. She's even started an investment program that is allowing those that want to leave the life in a reasonable time to do so.
An investment program. Who would have thought?
In this world, if you want to retire and enjoy the comforts of your labors, you need a plan. Most don't, and they end up in major problems.
What kind of problems?
Not enough. Or maybe worse, too much. Remember Jimmy Two Tones?
Yeah.
He made an error in judgment and got taken down for it.
Didn't somebody drop a dime on him or something?
You could say that. He'd gone into the used clothing business to hide his income, as it was fairly easy to credit sales and balance inventory with little documentation. Unfortunately, he started doing too well on his other endeavors and felt he had to start moving larger sums faster. So he went into high-end retail as a way of getting more bang for his buck, as it were. A $250 pair of designer jeans as opposed to a $5 use. And all he had to do was just transfer the new stock to the second-hand stores to balance the paperwork. But with the money he was moving, after about 6 months, he started to have a problem with inventory backup.
How?
He was running out of space to store the stuff he hadn't sold, and the backup had grown too large to just drop off with the used clothes.
So what did you do?
He came up with the brilliant idea of giving it away to the homeless shelters.
Sounds charitable. I remember now. There was this guy I used to give $1 to every now and then, but he started dressing better than me, so I stopped giving him anything.
And that was the problem. The panhandlers claimed they couldn't make a living, and the families needing food stamps started getting the fisheye from the social workers, who thought they were stealing from the welfare in order to make a fashion statement. Everybody started complaining, and the feds were finally forced to take notice. Jimmy went down because he had not properly prepared for the eventualities.
So your mama's covering that for the girls, huh?
Yeah. Like I said, she is very smart. But needless to say, this was not appreciated by some of the other managers in the city who felt they were losing their assets, so to speak. So they sent a representative to request that Mama cease and desist.
What happened?
About a week ago, Pink Boy Floyd and Paulie showed up for a meeting.
Holy crap.
Yeah. That was my feeling when I opened the door. I told Mama I didn't think it was a good idea to be seeing them, as they have a way of finalizing arrangements that could be deleterious to the arrangee, as it were. But she told me it was all right not to mind my head about it. She spent the morning in the kitchen baking cookies.
Cookies? What kind?
They don't have a name. It's government surplus cheese, white bread and sugar, plus a few other things that Mama throws in.
Sounds interesting.
They are that. And they taste great. After my daddy had his accident, Mama had to make do with anything she could get her hands on. And she became a real whiz with the government cheese they was handing out on the dole. She made everything with it, and it was all good. But it did take some getting used to, as it would give you the gurgle something terrible until your stomach adapted to it. Something in the aging or the preservatives or something.
Government surplus cheese, huh?
Yeah. She's always been able to cook. And after my dad died in that Zamboni accident, she really stepped up her skills.
Wait, back up. Your dad died in a Zamboni accident?
Yeah. The cops figured the brake slipped while he was under the roller. And he ran over.
He worked at the arena?
No. He was a runner for Two-Tom Toby.
And a Zamboni rolled
Yeah.
over.
3 times. Two-Ton and Gonzo Avalon were engaged in a discussion over resource allotment, and my dad had the misfortune to get caught up in the middle of their arbitration. The cops officially ruled it an accident.
I see. Didn't Pink Boy come up under Gonzo?
Yeah, he was his protege, so to speak. But that wasn't till much later. And Gonzo's been gone for a good while now, so there ain't no hard feelings on Mama's part. She's always been good at separating her personal feelings from business that way.
And she wasn't worried about problems at the meeting?
No. Mama's always been known as a square shooter. And Pink Boy insists on everything being proper and by the book, because he wants to convince people that he's a different kind of operator than Gonzo. Mama knew they would be on their best behavior for the meeting, and whatever would happen wouldn't be till after, if you know what I mean. So there I was in the study, with Pink Boy seated on the couch in front of Mama's desk, and me and Polly standing around trying not to look at each other while we waited for Mama to get the water boiling for the tea.
Polly didn't do a stare down?
No, which I really appreciated, as I did not want to be thought of as having initiated any unpleasantness should the necessity arise. Especially with Polly.
You got that right. Mitchell was telling me one night that he'd been present when Polly became involved in a personal discussion with some guy over something trivial, and later found out he had been in the wrong. So Polly went to apologize to the guy and admit his error, but the poor sod hadn't come out of the coma yet. So he sent him a fruit basket instead. Mitchell said that from what he heard, the card was very nice.
I'm sure it was much appreciated. Anyways, I felt much better when Mama finally wheeled in the tea cart and began pouring. There's something about seeing somebody with their hands full of teacup and cookies that is quite soothing, if you know what I mean.
So what happened?
Well, Mama poured the tea and passed around the cookies.
The government
Yeah.
cheese cookies.
And we all stood around for a few minutes, sipping and munching. Pink Boy expressed his appreciation and said the cookies was delicious. Mama said thank you and that he should have another, which he did. Polly had a couple. I had a couple. We was one big happy family.
So then what?
Well, after about 15 minutes, Mama and Pink Boy got down to business. Pink Boy explained how the other managers were worried about how Mama's progressive approach had cost them employees and business profits. Mama replied that she owed her success to running a business model that allowed for all of its participants to benefit. Pink Boy said that smacked of socialism. Mama said that it promoted employee investment in the company and made for better customer relations. It was an inspired give and take on both sides. Unfortunately, it looked as though it was headed for a stalemate when suddenly Pink Boy's stomach began to rumble. Rumble. I told you, those cookies take some getting used to.
What about Polly?
Polly?
Yeah, your stomach rumbled too?
Not hardly. Polly grew up down in the sinkhole.
A sinkhole. Where hope goes to die.
Story is they were so poor down there they had to catch what they ate. And by the time they moved out, their building was vermin-free and there was no rat in the neighborhood, if you know what I mean. You could set a grenade off in Polly's gut and all he'd do is burp. But Pink Boy doesn't have that kind of history, and he started getting uncomfortable in a hurry. As soon as she heard the first gurgle, Mama moved out from behind her desk and came over to sit down next to him, patting his hand as they talked. The more uncomfortable he got, the more considerate she became. In fact, she became so motherly, I began to get jealous.
No offense. But did your mama plan this?
You know, Mama, it was nothing personal. It was just business. Pink Boy had a choice. Run, compromise, or explode. I'm just glad he made it out the door. Thank you, Janie. I'll see that you get sick. But before he left, it was agreed upon that the girls who wanted to stay with Mama could, and she would cover their loss with a one-time payout. In fact, Pink Boy was so impressed with her negotiating skills that now he wants to invest with her for his girls as well.
Who would have believed it?
Pink Boy's no fool, and he knows a good thing when he sees it. Mama earned his respect.
Was yellow and pink?
Yeah, top to bottom. Hat, suit, and tennies.
And the caddy?
No caddy. He switched to a Beamer.
Why?
Well, he came driving up to Murky Waters in a brand new pink caddy a few weeks back, and Spaz asked him if he'd started selling cosmetics to his ladies. Pink Boy got indignant and said that it wasn't the same thing. The lady Spaz was referring to drove cars of a pink lace hue, while his was of a hot pink tone. Spaz laughed and said Pink Boy was right, and that hot pink was a gay lip color. Pink Boy left immediately, And Spaz, finally figuring out that he had well overstepped the bounds of decorum, decided that discretion was the better part of comatose and left town that night. The next day, Pink Boy was in the Beamer, which Polly was careful to tell me, should anybody ask, is an orchid pink and should not be confused with any of the previous, if you know what I mean. Pass that along.
So where did Spaz go?
He didn't say, but he came back last week to close out some business and then left again. I don't think he'll be back for a while, if ever.
I wish I'd known. I wanted to see him.
He said he was traveling incognito and not to mention it to anyone.
Incognito, huh? I didn't even know he had a passport. I thought maybe he'd gone back to visit his folks in Jersey.
Here, have a cookie. Say, where do you think I should insert the comma? Why don't you just shove it up your cue the music?